This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Always good to talk to my brother, Ohara Davies, the first person I ever met really in a sort of pro boxing standpoint like this. I think I was a young 16-year-old, no beard, still coming through now, OD. How's things, bro?
Things been all good. It's good to see you. Come up in the game now, doing big things. I see you got your own show, haven't you now?
Yeah, the Parsons podcast. Come on, shout out.
I see you got your own show. I remember you all those years ago. Just a kid that had a goal, that had a dream, and you pursued it. And I see you traveling the world, you're in America, then you're here, you're everywhere. And you know, I look at you and I'm like, this is what ambition's about. You're a star, mate.
I appreciate that, OD. Thank you. It's been a graft over the years, one that we've enjoyed. Look, let's speak a little bit about you. Just seen you spar there. 12 rounds, I believe. I couldn't believe when I walked in you were doing 12 so early. But looking razor sharp, to be honest. Me and Sonny Liston were just saying.
I've done 12 rounds, but I'm not as sharp as I want to be, and as I will be. At the end of this camp, I'll be much more sharper, much more fitter, a lot stronger than I am now. So, you know, I'm still in camp, so it's still mid-camp, so, you know, come fight night, you know, I should be a different animal.
Let's talk about your next fight. One that's sort of been thrown about a little bit for a while. We caught up on a Zoom. I think it must have been September time, and I know that you were hoping for back end of 2022. December maybe wasn't to be, but we're looking to sometime soon now. The Ritson fight to be announced. Just how excited are you? I know a clash that you can get your teeth into.
I'm very excited about this show. You know, the past few years, 2 years, let's say, my boxing career, I haven't made as much noise, haven't had as many fights. I've been doing a lot of personal growth. A lot of things happened outside the ring. You know, boxing, politics, a lot of things stopped me from fighting and stopped me from being as busy as I wanted to be. Now you've got all the stuff all sorted out, so I'm ready to resume my boxing career, and I feel like me having a few years out, it was a good rest for me because, you know, around 2019, I was really busy. I was fighting so many fights, big fights, when I fought in the Golden Contract, and after that was done, I just wanted a break. I feel like I've had a bit too much of a break, but, you know, I'm still young, ready to get back in there, still got a hell of a lot of money to make in this game, and I'm looking forward to this year being a great year.
Well, let's talk about the Ritson fight. You've been sort of quite vocal in the past on Twitter and said that it won't be a massively difficult challenge for yourself. As the time gets closer, what are you feeling like you should expect?
I feel like Ritson's a lot better than I thought he was. I feel like I've underestimated him. I've been watching his fights. He's long, tall, rangy fighter. But then again, he don't deserve to be in the same ring as me. He doesn't. Anyone that goes life and death with the likes of Bobby Davis Jr. doesn't deserve to be in the same ring as me. And if Ritson isn't someone that I can dust over quite easily, then I really need to question my position in boxing. This fight should be a fairly easy fight. Ritson doesn't deserve to be in the same ring as me. He's only getting a shot because Teofimo Lopez pulled out I was meant to fight him in a final eliminator. Sandor Martin didn't want to. Garcia, that Russian or Ukrainian guy, whatever his name is, he said that he couldn't make weight. Everyone couldn't make weight or they didn't want to fight because they had other options. Ritson was just the next in line. He hasn't worked anywhere to get ranked in the WBA, and he doesn't deserve this shot. It's been handed right to him, and I've got to be the one to take it away from him.
Okay, let me ask you with that then. Do you feel like that will give him maybe more of a chip on his shoulder? Because the fact that this really wasn't a shot that he thought was going to be coming to him, they went down the rankings. Do you feel like now he's almost got more to fight for?
Maybe, but it doesn't matter anyway. He's still going to get his ass spanked.
Raw! And as we expect from you, OD. Look, you say he's long, he's rangy. How do you believe that styles will blend come fight night?
I think we're both tall, long, rangy. I feel like he's going to try to, you know, fight the fight, pressure me. They look at me when I fought Taylor, and that's how Taylor beat me. Taylor fought on the inside, kept on throwing shots, and I just wasn't fit enough for the fight. I wasn't fit, I was too big. I was doing way too many weights for that fight, for that camp. And I think Ritson's going to look at that fight. I feel like Josh Taylor's giving him the blueprint on how to beat me. But, mate, I've been doing my track work. I've been running those hills. That shit ain't going to work this time.
I was going to say, I was in the Matchroom gym yesterday and I was speaking to some of the guys, and I was speaking to them in here this morning. It is so cold at the minute. So I've got to say, I know it's your job and I know it's your craft, but you boys getting up early for the hill sprints and the runs, I don't know how you lot do it.
Man, you got to think about the money.
Chase that back.
Man, I got to think about the money, because, you know, what I can potentially earn doing an 8-week camp is more than I would have earned in 8 years on the roads. You know, before boxing, I was in the streets. I'd be dead or in jail. So, you know, if I can earn a bit of money going up and doing the track and running a few hills, mate, hell fucking yeah. It was hard as an amateur when I was doing it free of charge, when I weren't getting anything. When I first turned as a pro and I was getting £100 a fight, £200 a fight. When I was signed to Matchroom and they're making me do 8 to 10 weeks camp and giving me fucking 2K, that was hard. Now, this shit's easy now. I'm motivated every morning. I think about the bag and I get straight to work.
Hell yeah. OD, let me sort of ask you. You said that you've sort of finished the golden contract, you were on a high, and then obviously we had everything with the pandemic that obviously made you fight at the end of the golden contract. It was quite difficult for people to get dates. You've said now that you've had a bit of time off, and sort of, so I imagine the last year wouldn't have been exactly as you would have liked, but then at the same time you've managed to have downtime. Is it now sort of reigniting that fire for you? I know that fire's never gone away and you've always been someone who's vocal and love the sport, but is it now making sure that you're in the place now where it's just activity throughout 2023?
To be honest, the fire wasn't there last year, even the year before. After the golden, like a lot of people don't know, during the golden contract, we thought the first fight was in November, second fight was in Feb, and you know, that's when the pandemic happened. MTK wanted to make the third fight in like May or June, and I was having arguments with them. I was saying, guys, I'm fighting fucking 10-round fights, 12-round fights. You need to give me a bit more of a rest. And MTK, I feel like, I don't know if they had
that burned you out, do you think?
That really burnt me out. I don't know if they had a time schedule as to they have to have the golden contract done in a certain time, but they kept on giving me fights, and obviously then the pandemic happened, so then the final got moved back to like the end of the year. I was like, hell yeah. But if the pandemic didn't go on, MTK would have made the final in May or June, and I was like, guys, you're giving me too many fights too soon. If I'm fighting in a 4-rounder, it'll be easy. So I felt really burnt out that year, and I was like, guys, after it's done, just let me chill for a bit. And I feel like the fire did go. I won a golden contract. I was on a high. I got paid a bit of money. I was the man again. And, you know, I chilled out again. And so I feel like me having a few years off, it was good for me in a way. It wasn't good for me because I was angry, but it was good for me in a way to get that fire back. And, you know, sometimes the rest is good. And even though I wasn't happy about it, the long time I've had off, I feel like it was a good thing.
OD, look, you've had the time off now and you're preparing yourself for an eliminator for what could be a world title honours. I have to say, sort of, you come back off a break and okay, it may not be the amount of time that you wanted, maybe spent more time inactive and that fire maybe went, but I suppose nothing more that can ignite your fire than a real domestic clash, something that we will have rivalry brewing in the build-up, no doubt, and also one that, you know that if you win here, especially with the belts being vacated by Josh Taylor, you know, there's real world honours up for grabs here.
100%, it's real world honours up for grabs, and you know, I've got to prove I'm at that level. I've always believed I'm at that level. A lot of fans don't believe I'm at that level. A lot of fans think I'm an arrogant tosser. That's what they think about me. But I feel like I'm on that level, and now I've got to prove it. If I go in there and I get my ass spanked, then it proves that I was all hyped from day one. If I go in there and I do a complete job on him, we need to admit that yes, Ohara Davies has been out the limelight, but he's back, and he's back making noise.
Do you believe that 2023 and the start of 2024 will cement Ohara Davies as a world level fighter, another world champion on the British Isles?
I believe so, and I really hope so. But only time will tell.
OD, let me ask you finally about boxing as a whole. I imagine you must be pretty cold sat there, so I'll keep it short. But Anthony Joshua, changed trainer again. We spoke when we done our sit down on Zoom, and you sort of spoke to me about your thoughts about him in the Garcia camp, etc. He's now moved. Eric James will be in the Errol Spence gym. It's looking like Jermaine Franklin's a potential opponent. Obviously gave Dillian White a really tough test. I quite like it as an opponent for myself. I feel like you change your trainer. You then fight someone like Franklin. I think it makes sense. A fight that he'll probably be expected to win, but one that will give him a test. Your thoughts?
Listen, AJ changing coaches. He's had a few coaches now. Seems like every time he fights and it doesn't go the way that he wants, he has got a different coach. And, I think Angel Fernandez is I feel like he's a very good coach. He was my coach for one fight. Angel Fernandez is a very good coach, and AJ, he did give him a go. In the Usyk second fight, Angel and Garcia, I feel like they've done a great job, a fucking great job. AJ could have won the fight, and he almost won the fight. He almost got him out of there. I think round 9 or round 10, he almost got him out of there. And I feel like he done what he could. That's the best AJ I've seen. And I think Angel and Garcia, I think they put AJ in the best shape that I've seen AJ. But if he feels like he could be better elsewhere, then no one knows him better than himself. But I think Angel and what Garcia done was a fucking great job. I just don't respect what Garcia done after the fight, going online saying all those bad things about AJ. And just for that, I say fuck Garcia, fuck Robert Garcia. He's a bit of a prick for what he said about AJ. It was bad. It was bad saying the guy ain't got no heart. He's this, he's that. Mate, shut your fucking mouth, mate. Shut your fucking mouth. He ain't had any fighter as big as AJ. He's lucky that AJ got him into the camp. It was very disrespectful, and that could be why AJ went. He said, "Fuck this, I'm going over to the States." That could be why, but I wish him all the best. I know AJ well. AJ's really helped me out in my boxing career. Got nothing but a good heart, a great heart. He always wants to see me win, and it's all love.
All right, OD, finally from me.
You haven't spoken to me about Anthony Yarde's fight.
Oh, yes. That's what I did say finally from me, but that is next week. Got Tommy is going to be on the card there. I just want to ask you on that AJ front, as someone with that fighter mentality and that fighter spirit, etc., when you've had your whole career as this sort of knockout, unstoppable beast, world title, and then loss, I think 3 in his last 5, 3 trainers in his last 3, does it start to catch up with you?
No, a lot of people are saying he's lost 3 fights in his last 5, so he's a bum, blah, blah, blah. This is why boxers fight bums and they fight journeymen, because it's just they get the win, they get the hype, and the fans don't say bad things about them. As soon as you say, okay, I want to fight the best, and then you lose, the fans say, oh, he's washed up, he's not the same anymore, he lost 3 out of 5. This is why boxers continue to fight bums, because, mate, AJ's fought the best. AJ's won the gold in the games. He didn't have to fight Usyk. He could have fought someone easier and got more ratings, and he could have fought someone that ain't as good as Usyk, but is a bigger name than Usyk. AJ said, you know what, I want to fight a challenge. I want to fight someone who could win against me. And he went out there and he gave it a go, and he come up short. And the way the fans treat him, it's just been so disrespectful. If he lost 3 out of his last 5 against fucking bums, then yeah. But he fought the best in the world, mate. Yeah. He fought the best in the world, and they're saying bad things about him. This is why I say fuck the fans, bro. Fuck the fans, because I feel like when you get your heart into it too much, and you start to love the fans, and you love the game and the sport of boxing, and then they treat you like this, it can affect you mentally. And I feel like it's affected AJ mentally, because after being loved by the fans at the start of his boxing career, it's like a Conor Benn, the same thing. Conor Benn has been loved by all the fans. When they love you and they say good things about you, and then something goes wrong, and then they say bad things about you now in public, and and then they slaughter you and they slant you. It's very damaging mentally. Luckily for me, I've been saying fuck the fans from day one. So after I fought Taylor and they say whatever they want to say, I'm like, yeah, cool. I didn't like you guys anyway. I said fuck you guys from the start anyway. It don't affect me because I never got my heart into it. I always said fuck the fans, but these other people, Conor Benn, AJ, it must be affecting them mentally in a massive way, I believe.
All right, OD, finally, Mr. Anthony Yarde next week takes on what is a monster challenge, and we'll go into it now. Artur Beterbiev, pound for pound, great in the sport at the minute. The only active world champion, unified with 100% KO ratio. I personally really excited to see Beterbiev in the UK. I imagine you are too, but also hoping that your good friend Mr. Anthony Yarde can do the goods. And it's a hard ask, but he had the Kovalev fight. He overcome adversity. He now has it in his home. Do you believe that now is the golden ticket for Anthony Yarde, the opportunity of a lifetime?
I believe so. For one, Beterbiev is about 38 years old now. So, the Beterbiev that we've seen, even last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, at 38 years old, he's not going to be the same fighter. He's still going to be good, yes. And it's a hard and it's a hard ask, yes, but he's not the same fighter. He had leg surgery after his last fight, I believe. I believe he had an issue in his left leg. He had some surgery. We don't know how that healed up. Is he the same fighter that he was? Yes, he's got 100% knockout ratio. Big fucking wow. At that weight class, fighters don't really go to points anyway. At that weight class, if you're super bantamweight and you got 100% knockout ratio, then yeah. But mate, at fucking light heavyweight, that's what you should have. It should be between 85 to 100%. If it's not, then something's wrong with you, mate. So, it is a hard ask. But Anthony ain't no bum. Anthony only had, as an amateur, he had about 14 fights in a pro, done his thing. And a lot of people don't know. The best Anthony that I've seen isn't Anthony as a pro. It's the Anthony Yarde back then as an amateur. Anthony Yarde as an amateur was a complete fucking animal. And I feel like when he turned pro, some of that animal kind of came out and he was more, smart, hit and don't be hit and all that shit. But that's the mindset he had in the first time when he fought Arthur. Anthony thought he won the fight. Anthony tried to play smart, cool, calm, collected, hit and don't be hit. In the second half of the fight, we all saw what happened. That's when he thought, fuck this. All that hit and don't be shit went out the fucking window.
I think we're going to see a different Anthony Yarde.
Anthony said, I'm a fucking beast in that second fight. In the second fight, no one was going to beat Anthony in the second half of the fight. No one was going to beat him, mate. Anthony would have fought life and death. Do you know Anthony was going to lose that second half of the fight is if he left that fucking ring in a stretcher. And in this next fight, I believe he's got the same. I believe Anthony's got the same mindset. This fight is not gone to points. That's for one. It's not gone to points, and Anthony's got a good chance of getting a win. People feel like he's got no chance. He's a complete underdog. He might be he might be the underdog. Yeah. People don't know. Anthony's been fighting. Anthony's been the underdog from day one. As an amateur, Anthony having under 10 fights. He was fighting amateurs that had about 35 to 40 fights. And I remember seeing Anthony beat the fuck out of these guys. I remember this guy from Islam. I remember watching him a fight before in the ABAs or the novices or the Henry Gay Box Cup, something like that. He fought Seb Eubank a fight before. R.I.P. Seb Eubank, one of my good friends. But mate, this guy really beat Seb Eubank really bad. There was blood all over the ring. And then Anthony had about 8 fights as an amateur. And then they put Anthony against this guy. And I won't lie, I remember sitting there like, fuck it out, it's going to be a hard fight. And they beat the fuck out of this guy. I've never seen the guy get beat so bad in my life. The way Anthony beat him, I think that's when me and everyone else back then as an amateur was like, wow. Yeah, like, this guy's good. And for the I haven't seen that Anthony Yarde since, apart from the second Arthur fight. In the second Arthur fight, that's a lot. That's between all those years, we didn't see that same Anthony. In this next fight, we're gonna see that same Anthony Yarde, and I believe Anthony win this fight. I truly believe he's got much more than a puncher's chance. The guy that had leg surgery in his last fight, come on, Anthony, get this guy the fuck out of here. I haven't seen Anthony in probably a month and a half now. Last time I saw him was at Sheesh. I haven't spoke to him. When he's in camp, I like him to be in camp. Do your thing. Focus. If you need me, you phone me, I'm there. But mate, do your thing. I support him every day. I don't wish him good luck before his fights. I don't speak to him. Let the guy be in his own place. After the fight, we can chill. We can catch up. But mate, I watch him online, and I'm his biggest fan right now. There ain't a bigger Anthony Yarde fan than me. I'll tell you that.
All right, OD, always a pleasure speaking. I think brilliantly articulated on the Anthony Yarde front. We really hope that by next Saturday, next Sunday, we have a new British world champion.
Also, Anthony Yarde, Tunde, I remember everyone saying back then about Tunde not being a good coach, Anthony leaving, blah, blah, blah. And the loyalty that guy's got to him, Tunde, it was my first coach as a pro. And, and towards the ending of my amateur boxing career, me and Tunde, we had a few arguments, we didn't see eye to eye, and I parted ways, we parted ways. Tunde released me from the manager's contract, and I went to Tony Sims, but Anthony and Tunde are like that. And I respect that a lot. It don't matter what they go through, those two are a fucking team. Tunde and me didn't really work out, but mate, him and Anthony, life and death. No matter how many people said to Anthony, leave him, Floyd Paz ain't shit, blah blah blah. Anthony's mind's firm. This is my coach. This is my fucking coach. And mate, I'm so proud of these two, and I wish him all the luck.
OD, top man, thank you very much. Always a pleasure, and I'll see you soon, mate.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.